Good evening. I'm Shannon Bremen for Brett Baer. President Trump's comment that he does not believe North Korean Kim Jong Un was aware of the mistreatment that led to the death of an American college student is getting major pushback tonight from the boy's parents. Fred and Cindy Warmbier say Kim and his evil regime are responsible and that excuses and lavish praise cannot change that. Late today, the president tried to explain himself. Senior political correspondent Mike Emanuel is at the White House tonight as the president gets back to business after a disappointing summit in Vietnam. Good evening, Mike.
Shannon, good evening to you. President Trump is on defense following the controversy over the death of American student Otto Warmbier. The president is blaming the North Koreans, but not calling out their leader. On Twitter late today, President Trump tried to clarify. Of course I hold North Korea responsible. The president concluded, I love Otto and think of him often. In Vietnam, the president did not blame Kim Jong Un.
I really believe something very bad happened to him, and I don't think that the top leadership knew about it.
The parents of Otto Warmbier expressed outrage and heartbreak, disagreeing with the president, saying Kim and his evil regime are responsible for the death of our son Otto. Kim and his evil regime are responsible for unimaginable cruelty and inhumanity. No excuses or lavish praise can change that. The president has taken heat from both sides.
Kim Jong Un knows everything that happens in his country, certainly with respect to an American who's been held prisoner there.
We shouldn't be naive about this regime and about the way they mistreat their own people, and certainly the way they mistreated Otto Warmbier.
While in Vietnam, President Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent 3 days testifying on Capitol Hill. Mr. Trump went after Cohen on Twitter. Michael Cohen's book manuscript shows that he committed perjury on a scale not seen before. He must have forgotten about his book when he testified. Cohen attorney Lanny Davis said the president was lying, adding sometime in early 2018, Mr. Cohen was offered a substantial advance for a proposal regarding a book on understanding Donald Trump. Mr. Cohen ultimately elected not to proceed. But this is just the beginning. Cohen's due back on Capitol Hill March 6th. Executive Felix Sater, who worked on a proposed deal to build a Trump Tower in Moscow, is expected to appear March 14th, and Democrats are signaling they intend to call even Trump family members such as daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner.
The Democrats' intention is for this investigation to go through 2020 into the next election. There's no question about it. And if they don't find evidence of collusion, which they haven't, or obstruction, which they haven't, then they'll look for something else.
The president was also greeted by a New York Times piece saying Mr. Trump personally overruled his then White House chief of staff, legal counsel, and intelligence officials, demanding a top-secret clearance for senior advisor Kushner. It reportedly alarmed senior officials, and then Chief of Staff John Kelly wrote what's described as a contemporaneous internal memo about the matter. The president denied getting involved in the security clearance issue back in November 2016, on Twitter writing, I am not trying to get top-level security clearance for my children. This was a typically false news story. Today, Oversight Chairman Elijah Cummings demanded answers from the White House's top lawyer. I am now writing a final time to request your voluntary cooperation with this investigation. White House advisors say they do not talk about security clearances, but Kellyanne Conway says the president has the absolute right to do what was described. Shannon?
Mike Emanuel live at the White House. Thank you, Mike.